Good morning, everybody. I sound like Jennifer from Two Broke Girls when I say that, but it's morning here in New Zealand. So good morning if you're joining me for this live Q&A session in the Elite Career Mentor Support Group. I have sent out some notifications about our live Q&A sessions, and please note that they are different from the usual once a month career coaching over coffee sessions. So this is the second call every month that we do. It's just a live Q&A session where I answer questions that we have received through the month or during one-on-one interactions with candidates, etc. So today, if you're out there and you are joining me on this call, let me know. And if you have any questions during this call, let me know. Today, I'm following on from our talk last time during Career Coaching Over Coffee in terms of the mindset and the mental struggle to find your role overseas. I know this is the difficult thing. This is the hard thing that everyone is struggling with. And as you requested, we will do a little bit more work in the mindset work. Now, what I've got today is literally the way to stay positive during such a difficult international job search or immigration or whatever you're going through. Actually, it applies to anything that you experience in life. You can apply this framework to anything that you experience in life. This is a framework that I learned when I was a coach, when I was trained as a coach years and years ago. I was still working full time. I had to manage my full time job. I went through my coaching certification, and we had many frameworks that we learned, and that we were tools that we were given to help our clients with, our coaching clients with. But this one stuck with me, and it's one that I use very often in the one-on-one coaching sessions too with clients or candidates or wherever I coach people. So it's a very useful tool in terms of checking your mindset. And this is what you can apply to check where you are with this journey and trying to land your overseas job, which is obviously a very mental taxing journey. I'm just going to recap a little bit from what we talked about before. For those guys that haven't been here and haven't watched that previous video in the career coaching over coffee session, the previous session, we talked about mindset and we talked about how to think about this journey. Hey, Yumishka, I see you there. Welcome. It's so good to see you here. It's awesome. Welcome to the session. If you have any questions, please let me know. Just stop me and raise your hand, or I'll give some time for questions afterwards as well. But very welcome to you. So the previous session, we talked about how you think about your job search or your immigration or starting a business or having a new relationship, whatever you want to achieve in life. And if you want to go back through the Facebook group and just go and check out that session that I did previously, it's called The Invisible Block. That was about how you think. And in that session, I talked about the thing is not the thing. How you think about the thing is the thing, and that makes the biggest difference. So following on from that, today we are going to see how to check your thinking and how to become aware of where you are in your thinking so that you can change your thinking. In the previous one, I talked a little bit about how to change your thoughts and what to do and how to I gave you some tools. I gave you a list of books to go and read and different tools to just start changing your thinking, because your thinking is what will make you successful, period. There's nothing else. There's not something outside of you or other people or circumstances. You are, and your thoughts is the thing that will make you successful or not. So in this session, how to check those thoughts. This is the tool to check where you are, and then you can use those other tools to change this. So the thinking is the level of where your emotions will be as well, if I can say it that way. You can't really focus on the thought first, because it sort of takes practice to check your thoughts, but it is easy to check your emotions. Okay, so on this document I have in front of me, and I'll give you this after this call, you can go and check your emotions, because it's really easy to check what you're feeling in the moment and then know what you're thinking. Okay, in the previous session, I talked about thoughts leads to feelings, and that will lead to actions, and that will lead to results. So here, we are checking those emotions, those feelings, to know how we're thinking so we can change the thoughts. So I'm just going to go a big bird's eye view level of this. You have actions that come from your thoughts and your actions on the left-hand side here. And you have your emotions on the right-hand side here. So if you're working with this tool, and I use this tool all the time, I still use it as a tool for myself, not just with clients, but for myself. I go and check my emotions. What am I feeling here? What emotion is going on for me? And then immediately I would know what I'm thinking, and then immediately I would know that I can change that thought. So the higher level thoughts has to do with your vision. And that's where I want you to stay. And I'll go through them in detail. A little bit level down from that is to do with your planning or to do with your solutions. So if you stay in these levels, you're good to go. You're sweet. You're on the right track. And also those emotions connected with these levels will be positive, progressive emotions, putting you in a progressive state, which born new emotions, new positive emotions, new actions, and better results. But if you go below the red level here and you sink into problem, detail, and drama, that is where you get stuck. That is the birthplace of negative emotions. It's actually the birthplace of negative thoughts, which is the birthplace of negative emotions, which will get you either stuck, taking no action, or taking the wrong actions. So it is very clear if you use this tool to check your emotions, become aware. It's not checking, it's becoming aware of your emotions and then going to think, what am I thinking that is producing this emotion? How can I change that? So let's work through them in a little bit of detail, and then I'll take some questions if you wish. Any questions are welcome, regarding this or any technical things that you want to talk about. Just a note here. In the previous session, I said to you that 99% of this journey that you're on, finding a new job, trying to build a business, whatever you're doing, is mental, is mindset. The practical things is about 1%. The to-do things is about 1% of it. I can teach you 1,000 to-do things, but if you do not have the right mindset, nothing will work. And that's what I'm trying you to get to understand. So let's go through this in detail. If you are in the vision level, you will be experiencing emotions of excitement, of joy, of anticipation, of gratitude, of appreciation, it'll be elated feeling, right? That's the feeling of walking on air, of being on cloud nine, of feeling fantastic. That feeling is a result of thoughts. And those thoughts or actions is visualizing, exploring new things, working with excitement. That will culminate in those actions. So immediately, if you're feeling that emotion, you're thinking that you can know that you're thinking in the right place. That your thoughts are in the right place. And these are the actions that are going to come from it. So when those actions come from it, you know, or you can know that the results will be positive. Not going to happen instantly because there is a lack of time because in a vibrational way between where we are actually putting our emotions out there and then we attract those positive things to us. So it takes a while for us to stay on that positive vibration level and then better things happen. But if you're in that level, check your thinking, check your thought, check your emotions. What are you feeling right now? Are you feeling despair or are you feeling elation? Which side of the scale are you on? If you want to turn this thing horizontal, that it's a sort of a sliding scale of emotions that you're experiencing. If we go down another level to plan, it is not actually up in the vision level. Now, this is the key here. In the vision level, there's nothing to do, right? You don't have to force yourself to do things. The actions that come are inspired actions. And that's what I talked about in the previous session. So go and watch that session. The to-do things, the practical things that come when you are in the vision level feels like ease, flow, downstream in a river. It just comes naturally and you're excited to do them and you can't wait to go and do them. It doesn't feel like work because it's in that level, in that vibrational level of positive flow. So that is where you lose time when you're actually doing something that you love and doesn't feel like you have to do things. It wants you to make you do things because it's nice and it's easy and it's joyful to do those things. When you sink into the plan level, your emotions will be slightly different. You will be more focused in terms of not focused on doing one thing with joy, but focused on which of these things should I start doing? Which of you'll move more out of the joyful feeling into the to-do feeling, into wanting to be in control, into being empowered, into being feeling that you can do things that will put you that will bring success, that will put you onto the next step, that will make progress. And you believe those things. But it's a little bit different from being in a vision. And the vision is literally walking on cloud nine and going down the river with the flow. It doesn't feel like you're doing anything. Being in the planning mode, you're actually feeling like you've got to do some things and you've got to force yourself doing it. Now, when I work with people, some people who are in the right place, in the right state, in the right mindset are usually in planning mode. Right? Very few people are in vision mode. In planning mode, they are eager to do things, but there are things that they don't like to do, and that's how I can tell that they are in planning mode. And if we go through a list of things that they've got to do, and I start asking them which of these things they do not enjoy, there's always one or two things there, and then I know that they're in planning mode. So in that mode, your actions culminating from the emotions and the thinking will be in your situation looking for a new role. You're going to wonder, how do I find more employers? How do I make connections? How do I become more visible? What actions do I need to take to actually become more visible and more valuable? Those things are the things that you start to think about and wonder and sometimes get stuck in a little bit. Okay, it is like a little bit, the handbrake is not up completely, but there's a little bit of a break there in terms of how am I going to do this? I want to be able to achieve this exciting thing, but how? The how starts coming. And this is the key again. If you're in the vision level, you do not worry about the how at all. It just happens by itself. And I'm not going to go into detail here, but literally, this has happened to me so many times in my life. When I'm in the vision level and thinking about something and having an emotional attachment and the positive state about something, by hook or by crook, the how just happens by itself. I don't know. Sometimes I look back and I'm thinking, how did that happen? It just happened by itself and it was bigger than I could ever make happen. But the planning level, you want to be in control. You want to make the how happen. And this is where it starts getting a little bit different and a little bit more difficult. Now, when you go one level down from planning, your emotions will still be positive. You'll still have hope and faith and trust and curiosity in terms of this thing that you want to achieve. But you're now looking for, maybe this is not going to work. I need to look at what will work here, right? How can I achieve this? And you sinking deeper into the how to. And the how to is the danger place. This is the place where you get stuck on the 1% of practical mechanical things and it will trap you. You can write that down. This is important. This place is the place where you can get stuck in the how to practical mechanical things and it will stop you from making any progress. If you are not careful to work with the how to in a flow way, your how to will stop you from achieving your dream, literally. I see this all day, every day. I have not even opened my LinkedIn profile this morning. When I go to my LinkedIn profile, there's dozens of messages in my profile, right? Like literally 30, 50, even sometimes even more. It takes me quite a bit of time to work through them. All those messages start with, how do I? And those people are usually stuck there, right? When I get emails, even from one-on-one candidates, the thing is, how do I? Now, it is natural to wonder about the how to. It is natural for us because our earthly beings here on earth is the thing who we want to be in control. Our ego, right, wants to be in control. The ego says, you must figure this out. But at that moment, we cut ourselves off from our higher being who actually already knows all the answers. And we cut ourselves off from the vision and the planning mode. From the planning mode, we already have the answers. We just execute those things. In the vision mode, we know that we are not in control of the how, and something else is. Okay, so the solution level is the level before you will be sinking in the mud. So be very, very careful. If you are thinking about the how to with hope, faith, and trust, that hope, faith, and trust needs to be exceptionally strong. If you find yourself looking for just the mechanical things all the time, you know that you're on the edge, on the cliff of falling into the danger, on the abyss of drama, problem, detail, and drama. Okay, so be very careful when you think about how do I. If you do think about how do I, try not to stay there very long. And here's the key. When you come out of that level, suddenly the how to takes care of itself. Suddenly the questions come because you've just asked. And it's happened to me so many times. It's happened to other people so many times. But if you get stuck there, your questions never come because your thoughts and your feelings are never raised into the next level. So if you can stay above this red line, this is the cliff. This is the cliff where you can fall off into. And if you are not careful, getting stuck below that red line it is so bad. When I work with people who's gone below there, takes such a long time to get them out of there, to change their thinking, their thoughts, which will change how they feel about things, their emotions, which will then change their actions. It takes such a long time. And it's so frustrating for me because I can see way down the end what they can achieve, but they get stuck in the how to. And that is such a difficult place. I actually enjoy working with people doing this because I can see the potential there in every human being. I just see the positive. I just see the higher being. But it is so frustrating for me to see that person struggle so much. So if you in any way here, check your emotions. It will indicate your thoughts and it will lead to your actions. So let's go to below the red line. Okay, this is not the place I would love to be. And trust me, I do this all the time. I'm a human being too. My earthly being is very strong, right? My ego is very strong. It wants me to figure out things. It wants me to 0800 fix them. And that's not the place you should be able to be. I have incredible ideas all the time. And I know it's because I want to spend my time up there in the vision. The ideas just come, and that is potentially the reason why I cannot work for a boss, because I drive them insane. I just have all these crazy ideas and I want to execute all of them at once. And I sometimes get to a point where I get stuck, and how am I going to achieve this thing, which is like a huge, big idea? And when I get there and I use this tool, because this is one of the tools that I use in my idea execution period of time that I sit down to execute ideas. I have all these tools in my toolbox. And I get to sit down and I check these emotions and I'm like, damn it, you're doing it again. You're trying to figure out the how, stop it. And then I've got to unplug, walk away. And then suddenly, 2 or 3 days later, these things that I was worried about, the things about the idea that stopped me in my tracks of how am I going to do this, it suddenly just takes care of itself because I've walked away and lifted my thinking and my emotions into the higher levels. So it works for me. I see it working for other people. So let's go and look at what the problem level is. The problem level, that's where you will experience emotions of hopelessness, of frustration, of being stuck, being worried, being irritable. And that is sometimes where I find myself. When I'm working through something that I just cannot figure out, I'm like, what am I feeling about this thing? Oh dear, I'm below this red line. And the problem one is where between problem and solution is where most people sort of work that I found in every sense, because most people are not aware of these things. They're not aware of the fact that they can check their emotions and they can check your thoughts and they can change their thoughts. They just do whatever comes in front of them and deal with it and being reactive. We don't have to be like that. We can actually choose how to think and how to feel. So, in feeling hopelessness and frustration, what will it produce? Laser focused on something, right? Now, sometimes I get people saying, I'm just doing this one thing. Why can I not get this one thing right? This is the truth, but it is true, but it is like it is, but the economy is bad, but there is unemployment, but the employers do not want people, but they don't want immigrants, but they are saying that you must have a visa first. It is true. That kind of thinking of that, it will produce that result of you thinking that way and laser focusing on problems, laser focusing on only problems. Here is the key. You get what you focus on. If you want to change that, change your focus. So look for the solutions. That's what I went through in the previous session. And go focus on the solutions, and then you will get that, right? One level up. Just one level up. So laser focusing on a problem will just get you more of that problem because you resonate with it, you vibrate it, you literally say, I want more of this problem. And the universe, God, whatever you believe in, will send you more of that problem because you want it. You're focusing on it. They're looking for the one thing that'll get them out of it, and there's no one thing. It's their thinking that will get them out of it. Usually people look outside themselves for a solution. Last night I had a call with a gentleman from South Africa who's been talking to me on LinkedIn for a period of time. He has been in the Facebook groups asking about job search in New Zealand. Now, he's in an IT role where there's such a huge skill shortage, and that the previous 2 months, two people have found their job offers in that same role. He's been on Facebook groups who told him that there's a recession in New Zealand and there's layoffs. Our unemployment rate at the moment is 5.1%, which is the highest it's been in 9 years. 5.1%. Now, I'm not, finding scapegoats here, but I'm thinking that the unemployment rate in South Africa must be higher than that. Because why would he be looking to get out? So if you just compare facts with facts, immediately you'll find evidence of the opposite of that belief that the economy is inefficient and there's no way that you can get in. So can you see the laser focus? And he had some argument with me in terms of, but the New Zealand economy is that bad. I can't find a job. And I'm like, dude, if you don't believe that, then stop it. Nothing is going to change your belief until you think differently about it. So this is where people become so laser focused on one little thing that gets them stuck. And that leads to the feelings, the emotions of hopelessness and frustration, right? Because they can't get out of that little sinkhole that spins around and around and around and around and around. And usually their irritation is palpable to other people. When I talk to someone, they're irritated, I'm like, yeah, dude, you're on the problem level here. Okay? So it's just a way of identifying where are you, what are you thinking? Another level down into the abyss is in detail. And this is very similar to the problem thinking, but here you actually dissect that problem in its little minuscule things. And you focus even more laser on little things inside that bigger problem, right? And when you expand something that's already difficult, what happens? Overwhelm. Okay, so immigration, the visa stuff. is overwhelming already because it's complex. It's technically complex. And then people go and nitpick these little things that they can focus on even bigger. And that overwhelm becomes just even more overwhelming. And I'm saying, take a higher look at this, take a bigger approach, take a bird's eye view, get out of the forest so you can see the wood from the trees. But if you're in detail, you'll be feeling even more overwhelmed, doubtful, unsure, confused, insecure. Right, this is where you're a cat on a hot plate. This is where you like, oh, this country doesn't want me. I can't find a job. Let's go to another country. And you do exactly the same thing because you're going to be overwhelmed with even more detail in the immigration systems of the next country. And then you're going to be even more complex, even more doubtful because the thing that you're trying to achieve there doesn't work either. What that leads to is doubting yourself, thinking that I'm not good enough. They don't want me anywhere in the world because I can't get into Canada, I can't get into Australia, I can't get into New Zealand, whatever. Right? So the detail then becomes the problem. And when the detail becomes the problem, it expands, it magnifies all the problems that you're focused on, and the overwhelm becomes even bigger. Now, when we get to here, people sweat the small shit. Okay? Oh, it's difficult to talk to people at this level. When I'm on a call with people, it is the most difficult calls. And even I get confused. I can't stick to my script. I can't stick to the way that I coach people through it, and I stop it. I can't talk to people at this level. I just cannot resonate with their thinking. I have to let them go and sort themselves out and maybe come back later because it's really difficult. That is where I have these filters. Before I talk to people, I have a questionnaire that people come through and like, where do you want to immigrate? Have you done your eligibility? Blah, blah, blah. Part of that is to check where they are in the process to sort of gauge what they're thinking. And if I sense that they are in this detail and drama, I'm a little bit averse to talking to them. I'm sorry because it's really, really difficult to get people out of that level. So that's where you experience the actions, analysis paralysis. You're going to be dissecting every single detail. You're going to be questioning everything, even yourself. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to criticize me and everyone else, and the government, and the employers, and the economy, and whatever you can find. You're going to blame. You're going to start blaming things for your inability to achieve whatever you want to achieve. And this is not just about finding a job. This is where people want to start a business or whatever they want to achieve in life. And this detail level, nitpicking little things is just, it is ugly. But there's a deeper level. There's a deeper and even more ugly level, and that is drama. Drama is actually a place where people who are in analysis paralysis take action. Okay, so this is the difference between the levels. When I talk to someone and I can hear that they're analysis paralysis, they sort of like stuck in the mud. You know, they like, I'm stuck and I don't know how to get out, and I'm blaming someone for putting me here. But when they get to drama level, they are dangerous because they act. They take action. They scream at you, or they would act out, or they would put negative things on my Facebook page or whatever. Okay, those people are literally dangerous. If you connect to them in real life, stand back because people in the drama level are drama queens. They scream and they cry and they blame and they do things. They do things that are ugly. And that's where you have to just back off a little bit because they are experiencing fear. And fear in your mammalian, 2 million-year-old brain lets you act. Actually, that's what we call rock bottom. Okay, and rock bottom is sometimes a good place for people because once they act, things happen, and sometimes it gets them out of it. It spits them out. So it can be a double-edged sword, but in psychology, we sometimes want people to go back to the drama level so that they can experience the fear, so that the fear um, lets them act, makes them do something that will sometimes bump them out of that drama level. But fear makes you act. And fear makes you do anything. And sometimes the anything works. Some of those anythings that you do work. But it also can lead to extreme anger, blame and guilt, despair, disillusion, and sometimes it leads to depression. And that's the worst place you can get to. And when people are in that level, it's almost impossible to work with them. That's why I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist anymore, because I don't want to deal with that kind of thing. I want to deal with people who are already in the vision, and it's just so much easier. It's just a pleasure to deal with people above the red line. But the drama level is a dangerous level where you almost never will achieve anything. Can you see how far you've got to go to get to the vision where things will actually happen for you? Now, this is where there's little action because there's paralysis, or there's such action that you do irrelevant things. That's the opposite scale of it, right? Fear lets you act out in ways that are sometimes irrelevant to what you're trying to achieve and makes you do the opposite things. And sometimes they will also avoid dealing with the situation. They will walk away from it. When I deal with people below the red line and I give them some steps to go and take, little steps to get them out of their paralysis, out of their hopelessness, and they simply do not want to do those things, I know that they're in the drama level because they do not even want to deal with a positive step, even if it's this small. So it is a very difficult place to come back from, but there's still hope. Okay, there's still hope. It just takes longer and it takes more work because you've got to work yourself all the way up to the vision level. So let's recap these levels. At the vision level, let me ask you this question. Have you ever gone river rafting or on a river, right? Have you ever been on a river or in the sea? I love surfing and boogie boarding. I will never try and surf against the waves. When you get into a river with a raft, have you ever thought about rowing upstream? How difficult is that? Why would you ever get into that river if you have to row upstream, right? You want to go downstream. That's the vision level. Things happen. You don't sometimes even have to put the oars in the water. It just happens. It comes from your thinking and your emotions, which produces you to be in that place where something else takes care of most of the actions. And the actions that you've got to take feel so easy and so pleasurable and so nice to do that it doesn't feel like action. That is the best place to be. And to be there, you need to think there and then check your feelings to be able to be there. And if you can't be there in the planning or the solution level, is where you can be. Think a little bit about how to do things, but think of them in a way that still produces a positive action and it's put you in a positive state. In the previous session, I talked about the two states. You could only be at one state at a time. These two states is progressive states, which is positive, right? Produces positive. It comes from positive thinking, produces positive emotions and actions, or a primal state, which is a place of negative thinking, which produces negative emotions and negative actions. You can only be at one place at a time. You can't be in both. You can either be above or below the red line, not on the red line. Okay, you can swing between it, but you can't be in both places at once. And all of us swing between it. It's normal, it's life, it's human experience. But the more you can be above the red line, the easier. In this session, I'm not going to tell you how to be above the red line. That was the previous session. In this one, I'm going to tell you how to check where you are. So that's what this session is about. So if you sink into below the red line in problem, detail, and drama, think about how far you've got to go to get above that red line. And what you've got to do is just changing your thinking. And that's quite easy to do. Okay, it's actually quite easy to do. Now, if you find it hard to change your thinking about your job search to positive thinking, then try and not do that. Don't do that. If it's too hard, don't do it. Go and change your thinking in another place so that it raises your emotions and then go back to your job search. Can you see the back door in here? Go do something that you love to enjoy, which will raise your emotions and your vibration and your experience. With that feeling, go back to your job search. Then you're already in the higher level, and then go back to your job search. And I promise you, the things that you were worried about will all taken care of by itself. The how-tos will come, okay? And the problems will suddenly disappear. So, if you want to have a conversation with me about this and helping you to do that, let me know, and I can do that. Okay, we can always set that up. All right. So down here, I'm just going to make this a bit bigger, and it's probably going to jump to the next page, but that's okay. Is the this is what we call the emotional scale in psychology. I'm not going to go into detail with this, but you can see in this emotional scale right in the middle, there's boredom. That's the red line. Okay. This relates to this framework that I've just given you. At the top of that, or above the boredom level, is the excited emotions. That's the way all the way up to vision and freedom and joy and love and passion and enthusiasm, those kind of things. And below that are the other emotions that you experience when you're below the red line. So it's just a visual way, coming from psychology background, to sort of demonstrate the emotional scale. So you can, I've got this stuck on my wall, and I look at it when I'm doing something like, how am I feeling about what I'm doing? And if I'm below that red line, I just stop it and walk away, literally, and go surf. Okay, I unplug things and I go to the beach or the bush or the river or the lake or the sea or whatever, and I go do something that I absolutely enjoy, that gives me joy, or go with my grandchildren or spend time with my family, even if it takes me a week. And then I come back, and lo and behold, things are just easier because it's put me in a different vibration, different thinking, different feelings, different actions. Different thoughts will come and different actions will come from it. Right, I've been at it for 40 minutes now, and I see only Yumishka here. I can't see anyone else. Let me just check if I have any questions. Yumishka, you are welcome to unmute yourself if you want to. I am perfect if you want to ask any questions, even if it doesn't relate to this, and if it's anything, if it's anything technical or practical that you do have a question about, you are welcome to ask at any time. It is always a good thing to see people sending me these questions, and I usually get them not in the Facebook group because people are a little bit, a little bit wary of putting their thinking out there. That's okay. If you have a question, send me an email, send me a message on LinkedIn, by all means. If you want to do it privately, I don't have any problem. I do not have so many people to deal with that I can't deal with it. Okay, so if you in this group and you're listening to this, then if it's not on YouTube yet, you are in the VIP group, or the previous VIP group, you're in the elite group, or you are in the job search for 25 group, or you are in one of my paid programs, and you have access to me this way or on a message on LinkedIn. And I'm happy to answer any questions. So let me know if there's any questions. I don't see any questions there at the moment. Let me just double check all the question thingies here. Chat. I do not see anything in the chat at the moment. If you have any questions after this and you're watching this in our group, or you're watching a previous session, or you're watching anything else that has any questions, put the questions below this video or this recording for me, and I will answer those questions. Now I'm going to make a PDF of this this document that I have in front of me here, so you can use it as a tool if you want to. And if you have anything to add, I mean, I don't have all the answers. And this is just my thinking and the way that I help people, and I'm just putting my skills out there for you to use. then add to it, make it your own or suggest some recommendations and also tell me what you want to know more about. Last time I asked, and people were overwhelmingly, we want to know more about the mindset things. And this is what I've done. I think in the next one, I've got some technical things that I do want to talk about. Our next career coaching over coffee, I think it's on the 10th of March, if I can remember correctly, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll send you notifications of it. That is where you can. I'm actually going to do a session about, I think I'm going to talk about something specific to the job search. So I'll see you in that session. All right, that's me for today. I don't see any questions there. Thanks for attending, Yomishka. And if you out there have any questions, let me know and I will talk to you again soon. Take care.